Students are always surprising me, and even though I think my expectations are high, and my expectations keep going up every year I've taught, students are always teaching me that my expectations aren't high enough. The last year I was in the classroom, before this year, I had a student who I really had trouble connecting with. He was rather defiant, Jesse. Not very personable with too many kids, always on the defensive and just totally resistant to doing anything academically. I found out through his journals that he's a musician and is a really accomplished drummer. And in conferences with his mom, found out that's all he wanted to do, was go to the garage and practice with his band. And they were pretty good. So I kept thinking, well, what would I do with a kid like this? I'll try to connect him with like biography of Jimi Hendrix or Morrison or somebody, another musician, and he resisted that. And as part of this banquet of books and kids talking about books that they really enjoyed, I had a copy of Pat Munoz Ryan's, isn't she the one who wrote Esperanza Rising? And Esperanza Rising. And I told him one day when I just had it to hear with him resisting, I said, read this book, and you are not leaving my classroom today until you've gotten through at least 20 or 30 pages of this book. But I've got to go to algebra. No, I don't care. I called all his teachers and said, he's staying in my room the rest of the day until he reads. And he started reading this book and fell in love with it. I mean, it's a wonderful book, but to me it was always a girl's book. You know, it's just sweet, it's so sweet. And this kid loved this book so much that when he finished it and then kept it so that he could read it again, I couldn't believe it. And on my wall in my office here, and I packed up this special picture, and on my phone I carry it around with me, I have a picture of this kid with Jesse, with the goofiest smile on his face, with the first book that he ever read, Esperanza Rising.